Welcome everyone. We'll get started here in just a minute or two. Just letting people get logged in right now. I do see a couple more people coming on, so if you'll be patient, I appreciate it. We'll get started here in just a moment. There are still a few people coming on, so we will get going here. Again, this is called Google Plus Local, how to turn your Google Plus Local page into a magnet for new customers. So it is it's going to be a great webinar, and it's an incredibly important topic right now, very timely. So let's go ahead and just make sure that we get as many people on as we can. We'll start here in just a second. And there are a few more. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get rolling. A couple of logistics to start. I will send you a link to a recording of this presentation, so there's really no need to take copious notes. Also, if you have any questions, please just chat them into the box below the presentation, and I will address as many as I'm able to at the end. If I don't get to your specific question, not to worry, someone from my team or I personally will follow up with you to make sure your question gets answered. I do see that there are still a few people coming on, so for those of you who missed it, hello again everybody. We're really excited that you've joined us here today. It's a great presentation on how to turn your Google Plus Local page into a magnet for new customers. Very timely. It's absolutely all over the internet forums and the news, so definitely are excited to be presenting this to you today. And how to leverage Google Plus to promote and build your business. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start by answering the why. Why should your business bother using Google Plus Local at all? Well, small businesses typically have few extra resources, so they're very protective over them. For that reason, I want to spend a couple minutes explaining why it's worthwhile for your business to set up a Google Plus Local page. The answer to the why question is actually pretty straightforward. There are two statistics that matter here. First, 97% of consumers search for local businesses online. Kind of want to repeat that. 97% of consumers search for local businesses online. That's basically saying that for everybody who gets a yellow page book in the mail, 97% of them throw them away. They never look at them. They're looking for these local businesses online. Second, the clear majority of these local searches are done using Google, which is still the undisputed king of web search. Moreover, Google has clearly decided that it needs to put a lot of value on local listings in their search results. So if you take all of these things together, you can see that Google Plus Local is just an incredible opportunity to get in front of your target market right at the moment they're looking for what you sell. And here's a list of benefits that businesses experience when they use Google Plus Local. As you can see, Google Plus Local is a free resource that helps you get found online, drive more traffic to your website, stand out in a crowded market, acquire insight into your consumer base, and more. Google Plus Local also helps you engage with your customers using a variety of media types, which will therefore increase sales with promos and special offers, and ultimately boost your overall profitability. So before we go too much further, let's take a moment to make sure we're all on the same page in terms of what exactly Google Plus Local is. In the simplest terms, Google Plus Local is a tool that allows business owners to update and manage their physical business location information and connect with local customers. But what does that look like in practice? On this page, you'll see a screenshot of a SERP, S-E-R-P, aka a search engine results page. There are a few components to this page, as most of you know. At the very top, you have the sponsored listings. Second from the top, you have the natural or organic listings. Now notice the map in the top right corner. If you click on that, Google takes you to a map populated with local businesses that fit your search term. This is where you can see your business's Google Plus local page. Now let's take a closer look at a local listing. Here's a local page. At the very top, you can find out all the basic information about a business, from the address and phone number to how to get there by public transportation, and even the price of a restaurant's average entree. If you're a business owner, you can update and edit this information in your Google Plus Local for Business account. Another cool feature that you'll find here is the ability for business owners to post to their local page, which allows businesses to give updates and share information with customers quickly. Further down, you'll see a section where you can upload photos and videos. Other photos may appear from various sources. You can click on the photo thumbnail to visit its source. Business owners can upload up to 10 photos and 5 videos for each business listing. We strongly recommend using your full allotment of photos and videos, but we'll get into more detail on that later. Scroll down further and you will see customer reviews. These reviews are a great way to harness the power of social proof. In May 2012, Google totally revamped its scoring system, replacing 4- and 5-star ratings with Zagat's 30-point scale. According to Google, this expressive rating system makes it easier for users to better share their view about what makes a place unique. Your customers will be able to rate your business on multiple criteria on a 1 to 3 scale. Average scores are calculated on a 30-point scale based on user reviews, where a 26 to 30 score indicates a range from extraordinary to perfection, a 21 to 25 score represents very good to excellent, a 16 to 20 score good to very good, and so on. These scores will show you several scores for different criteria. For example, restaurants are scored across 3 areas: food, decor, and service, with food being the primary aspect. When Google doesn't have enough user ratings on different aspects, it will just show an overall score. An overall score is comparable to a score in the primary aspect for a location, like food for restaurants. Why do customer reviews matter? It's pretty simple. Users put a ton of trust in their social networks. 90% trust online recommendations from people they know. But get this, 70% trust opinions of unknown users they've never met. In other words, Google Plus Local gives your business an incredible opportunity to harness the power of social proof, a psychological phenomenon where people assume the actions of others reflect correct behavior. This is a high-flown way of saying that we're pack animals. We follow the herd. Google Plus Local will help your business fully capitalize on our innate desire to fit in and belong. The last part of the listing I want to show you is below the profile image. You'll see there are 3 buttons that will help users share your page. They can print your page, email your page to a friend or family member, or grab a link to share through another channel, for example, Twitter, Facebook, or Instant Message. So, if you haven't done so already, your first action item when you leave this webinar is to claim your listing. It's a very simple 3-step process. You might be wondering why Google sends you a postcard with a verification number, but the reasoning is pretty simple. Google wants to make sure that only businesses with physical locations have a location on their map. And here's an example of what the confirmation postcard looks like. Okay, now it's time to get into the fun stuff. How to make the most of your new platform in Google. How to create a local listing that delivers the biggest return for your business. By taking the time to optimize your listing, you'll raise the profile of your page and get more prospects to click through, visit your business, and ultimately purchase your products and services. For the next few minutes, I'm going to outline a few simple ways you can improve your page and make sure it performs at a high level for your business. So I'll start with the simplest and most important thing you can do to optimize your Google Plus local page. Fill it out. Seriously, that's it. Complete all text fields, even the ones that aren't required, particularly email address, website URL, description, and categories. This is extremely important, so I'll even say it again. Complete all the text fields, even the ones that aren't required. Email address, website URL, description, and categories. This is what's going to separate you from the other 90% who aren't doing their due diligence to make sure that Google Plus will be able to find them against all the other criteria out there. On this slide, you'll see a helpful quote from SEO Moz, who know what they're talking about when it comes to Google. The larger point is this: don't just do the bare minimum. Make sure it's 100% complete. In the optimization game, a listing that's 90% complete isn't an A-, it's an F. One of the most important ranking factors, if not the most important, is overall page completeness. So again, fill it out. I'm going to say it over and over. That's going to be the one thing that you'll leave today, is that you have to make sure everything you do to complete your listing matters. You absolutely have to do it. For those of you toughing it out in a crowded marketplace, the next best thing you can do to improve the visibility of your listing, vis-a-vis your competitors, is to acquire citations from other directories. What's a citation? It's a listing of your business on another local directory. Here's the deal. Google crawls the web for information, or citations, about your business from a variety of third-party sources, including Yelp and the Yellow Pages. The more citations or mentions you have, the more content Google spiders have to work with, and the more authority your Google Plus local listing will have. The more authority and credibility that your business has in the eyes of Google, the more likely your listing is to appear on the top of the results. Additionally, it's important to make sure that the information you submit to other directories is consistent. Accuracy across all citation sources helps associate trust with a local page. So on this page, you'll see a long list of directories you can get citations from, starting with some of the bigger ones. Obviously, Google, Facebook, Yahoo, but also Yelp and Bing and Twitter and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is often forgotten in the big scheme of things, MSN. These are the ones you want to start with to start building those that huge web of citation sources, directory listings, and that's going to ultimately build your standing in the eyes of Google. So here's a more challenging but very effective way to boost the position of your page. Get your customers to write reviews. That means getting in the habit of asking your customers, particularly when they offer unsolicited positive feedback, to take a few minutes to put their experience into words and submit it to Google for the world to see. Another approach is to give people a gift or enter them into a drawing in exchange for their time to submit a review. If you do take this route, however, the important thing to stress is that you're not asking them for a positive review, because that would actually be a bribe of sorts. Emphasize that you want them to be honest in their assessment of your company and that they'll get rewarded for their honesty. More often than not, people will be happy to write a review. A few, though, will balk because they're just not sure of what to say. When this happens, just give them a few prompts, but take care, again, not to put words in their mouth, because the review might come across as scripted and insincere, which, needless to say, defeats the purpose. Lastly, a word to the wise. Do not, under any circumstances, write bogus reviews and submit them under a pseudonym. We'll talk more later on why this is such a terrible idea. The other thing you can do is add images. SEO analysts have documented a strong correlation between a page's ranking and the number of photos and videos it has. So make sure to max out your allowed number of images. High quality photos will really help your business stand out from the crowd. If you have the budget, I strongly recommend hiring a local photographer to take some photos. They will go a long way, and you can leverage them on other platforms as well. Another way to leverage our listing is to include offers. This is a pretty great feature because it's a surefire way to translate online visits into in-store purchases. A few general tips for creating offers. 1. Make sure they comply with Google's rules. 2. Make sure it's a good offer. Be really generous. 3. Make sure you provide some context. In other words, let the buyer know how much value they're getting. This will boost the strength of your offer. Okay, so now I want to take a couple of minutes to identify some hazards and pitfalls that you should avoid when using Google Plus Local. Now, I know I may sound like a broken record here, but it's worth mentioning again. Don't leave gaps in your page. Fill it out completely. As I mentioned earlier, page completeness is one of the most important ranking factors, so it's vitally important to dot every I and cross every T when you're setting up your listing. Don't just go through the motions. And this shouldn't come as a surprise. A fresh, regularly updated page will always outperform a stale and neglected page. If you want your Google Plus Local page to really deliver value to your business, you need to add some value to it on a regular basis. Consider creating a recurring calendar event to remind yourself to log into Google and freshen up your page and read the latest customer reviews. This will also give you an opportunity to view your analytics and see how your page is performing. Unfortunately, many businesses have received some really bad advice when it comes to Google Plus Local optimization. One of the worst pieces of advice is to stuff your page with keywords. This is dumb for two reasons. First, it tempts the wrath of the Google gods who consider this a form of spamming. Second, it just makes you look cheesy to your would-be customers. By all means, do some keyword research and use them in your page, but don't overdo it. Okay, so now let's address some of the frequently asked questions that businesses have regarding Google Plus Local. If you don't see yours here, don't hesitate to ask me when I open up for questions at the end. Number 1, how can I make the most of my listing on Google? Well, we've already covered the basics, but I'll review them anyway because repetition is the mother of learning and the father of excellence. 1, make sure your listing is complete. More than that, make sure you've taken every opportunity to go above and beyond the bare minimum. Add a bunch of photos and take time to write a compelling company description. Create listings in other directories, making sure to include the exact same information in each one. And lastly, encourage your happy customers to write positive reviews. Next question, what if I get a bad review? How do I take it down? The bad news is, you can't take it down unless it violates Google's terms of use, and that's a very tough case to make. It's going to require a really egregious situation to convince Google to remove a review. Google will look for any reason to leave the comment in local. That's not because they're heartless and don't care about your reputation, but because they need to maintain their own reputation as a fair and neutral party. But you can always attempt to diffuse bad reviews by responding publicly. In some cases, this can end up being a PR victory for your business because it shows the public that you take customer complaints very seriously and are committed to excellent service. Although businesses get nervous about Google Plus Local reviews because they're out of their control, they're out of their hands, it's our belief that you should really embrace this feature. Both positive and negative feedback can be good for your business and help it grow, even though it's sometimes hard to hear. Think about it this way, a customer who has written a review has taken the time to invest in the success of your business. If you've made a business improvement based on that review, you should definitely thank that user and share the change. And here's a common question, why isn't my listing showing up in the results? Not surprisingly, marketing on Google Plus Local has gotten very competitive. In the old days, you could simply fill out your business listing on Google and see it in the, quote, 7-pack a few weeks later. These days, if your listing doesn't have a 100% score, you can forget about being listed in the first 7 local businesses that Google displays for local results. There are a number of ways to vie for a good position, as we've just covered. And then there's this, why is there already a listing for my business? Well, it's pretty simple. Google spiders can crawl the web and assemble a page automatically using the information they find from other domains. Additionally, new listings can be created by anyone. Which brings us to the last question. Why do I need to claim my listing? Claiming your listing has several benefits. The first and most important is that it locks your listing out to everyone else. It locks it away from them. You now own it and the majority of its contents, excluding the customer reviews, of course. Another benefit is that claiming your listing provides information on who is viewing it. You can see how many times your listing has shown up in searches, how many people have viewed it, even how many people have asked for directions to your business. So at this point, you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed. And to be perfectly honest, there will be some challenges in this process, and some ongoing effort will be necessary to be really successful. But don't be discouraged by these challenges because recall the benefits. Google Plus Local is a great tool to have in your marketing arsenal. It's a form of advertising that's affordable, effective, and relevant. Further, recall that 97% of consumers use search engines to find local companies, with the 2/3 using Google to do so. And you can do it. Google Plus Local is not rocket science, not by any stretch of the imagination, so don't worry. You have everything you need to be successful. And if you need help or encouragement along the way, you can always call on me or a member of my team to help you get unstuck. Well, okay, we made it, everybody. That's the end of this presentation. I hope this has been helpful, and I really appreciate the time you took out of your busy schedule to be here with me today. Please take what you've learned and apply one thing today and one thing tomorrow, and don't stop until your business is taking off like a rocket. I guarantee you it will be worth your time. So now let's open it up to some questions. Now it does look like I've already gotten a few here queued up, so we'll start with those, and then if you have any more, just go ahead and type them in. So I've got one here. It's from Mary Jones. Can I hire someone to submit positive reviews to Google Plus Local? So Mary writes, can I hire someone to submit positive reviews to Google Plus Local? Absolutely not. You cannot do that. No, this practice is widely considered a form of spamming. It violates the terms of most web directories, and even if the reviews are legitimate, maybe they came from surveys your business has written or comment cards, and you just handed them to somebody to write for you. It's taboo. You just can't do it. The reason being is that Google Plus Local and other review sites, if they find out about it, will just shut your site down. They're just not going to. They deal with this all the time. They know how to look for it. They know what to look for, and it's absolutely not worth your time. So, in the long-winded way, you definitely don't want to do it. Don't hire somebody. Don't try to do it yourself. Don't try to game the system. It's just not worth your time. And then, let's see, we've got another question here. Frank says, hi Frank, what if I don't have a store or office? Can I still create a listing? Absolutely you can. Yes, you can, because there are plenty of people out there who, work from their home, or they have mobile offices, they work out of their car. And these people need a way to be able to leverage this service as well, and Google allows for that. What you need to do is still have an address that Google can send that postcard that we show you. But then what you would do, especially if you don't want people to know the address, of your home as your business, you would just be able to write, service area in the sign-up process and opt to hide your address to your customers. So definitely they allow you to do this. It does bring up a good point though, in that, and I do see that there's actually another question about this coming down, so I'll just answer that then, but it has to do again with trying to game the system by creating these fake areas like UPS stores and mailboxes, post office boxes with the post office having the legitimate street address as a actual point of reference for Google Local to point to say, hey, yeah, that's an actual business area. But I do see that that's a question coming up, so I'll answer that then. But in the meantime, just kind of to reiterate, yeah, you can absolutely create an address when you don't have a physical one. You just have to have one that Google can send the postcard to make sure that your business is legitimate. So we have another question here. Jeannie writes, I already use Facebook for my social media for my business. Why will Google Plus Local be any better? That's actually, one of the questions we receive all the time is, as I'm already utilizing so much time on Facebook, it's just a time drain. I'm using Twitter all the time, or at least I'm trying to. I'm trying to update my blog every day or once a week, and that's too tough. Why should I put more effort into social media than I've already done right now, as it stands? And the key here is that while Facebook and Twitter and blogs are important for the social aspect of interacting with your customers, Google Plus sets itself apart a little bit in that it's creating its own opportunity for you to connect with customers while they're trying to connect with you. So, for example, Facebook is trying to get people to utilize its platform as a search tool. Hey, tell your friends that you went to this restaurant and you really liked it, and so da da da. Google has already got that ingrained in people to search for it, and then all it has to do is to kind of push us along to say, hey, you're already searching for this restaurant. Now rate it for everybody to see. Tell your groups, tell your circles, tell your friends that this was a great restaurant and that, why don't you try it out? Here's our rating. Instead of 4 or 5 stars, it's 30 stars. You can go right now and look at, lunch in Denver, Colorado, and you'll see all these great reviews that show, hey, this one got 23 and this one got 24, and it digs down deep into why one is better than the other. And so that's the difference. I would also caution that the key to using Facebook and Twitter and all these other social media platforms is that it's vitally important to do so. Absolutely, you should make sure you're connecting with your customers through that interaction. But the point is not to put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't just rely on Facebook to do all of your social outreach. Don't just rely on Twitter. Don't just rely on your blog. Make sure you're utilizing all of these tools in order to connect with your customers, because we've seen in the past that there's no guarantee they're going to be around 10 years from now. MySpace was, what was going to come along and take that apart? Well, Facebook did. Well, what's going to come along and take Facebook apart? I don't know. Google Plus might. Maybe not. Maybe they can work in conjunction. Who knows? But right now, the importance is that it changes every day and all the time. So you want to make sure that that you're utilizing all these tools at your disposal and not just counting on one or the other, but that you're working with them in combination. And so, and this is actually the question I had seen earlier and wanted to kind of put it off for a second. But Bill had written for the next question, I saw a WSO recently saying that I could just use a UPS box, like a UPS store, to point my business to. Is that legitimate? It's absolutely not legitimate. It's gaming the system. It's trying to find ways to kind of maneuver around Google's laws and the pacts that they make with their customers. And we always recommend against it. Is it creative? Is it intriguing? Absolutely. Is it recommended? Absolutely not. So that's kind of why I wanted to kind of put that one off and say that there are people who are trying to do this stuff, and then when they get caught, their businesses just get shut down. Is it worth it to you to have Google or other review sites like Yelp or Bing shut your website down because you're just trying to improve the reviews of your site? Of course not. I mean, that's ridiculous. So again, use best practices using Google Plus Local, but also do them in your own business. I'm not going to preach to you on having a good business, but I think that in the end, that's what's important. If you run a good business and treat your employees right and your customers right, then there should be no question that Google Plus Local will be a benefit to your long-term success. At the same time, if you do get bad reviews, use those as the opportunity to show that you care about your customers, you care what they think. You want to show that that you're there to answer their questions and resolve problems. And so you can always use that as the opportunity too. So, in the end, do you ever want to game the system? No way. Don't try it. So I do see that we're kind of up against it. Let's go ahead and take one more question. Let's see, this one's from JJ. Do you guys think the direct links to old places pages will eventually forward to the new plus pages. He goes on to say, we use those direct links in some of our advertising, QR codes to leave reviews on old places page. That's actually pretty interesting because I was just talking to a business owner the other day who had said that, this has only been around for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and he's already seeing that things that he had on Google Places just are different now. There's just a little bit of change, something as he was also an internet marketing service consultant, and all of his keywords where they used to, deal with Google Places and reputation management and stuff like that. Now they changed to entertainment and recreation in Google Plus Local. So you just have to monitor your own site. You want to be doing that anyway, because again, this is the way you want to interact with your customers. You want to know what's going on out there. Don't just assume that if you had Google Places reviews and everything like that they just transferred across. I'm not that ingrained in terms of what Google Plus Local is going to be doing in the future. All I can tell you is from my experience with it shortly is that, yeah, of course, with any kind of new technology change, there's bound to be problems, and a lot of people aren't going to like it and a lot of people are going to love it. But in the end, if you know what's good for your business, we definitely recommend doing what you can to market your own products and services using Google Plus Local, because it's definitely the place where people are going to be. They're going to be looking for you on their mobile phones, on their mobile devices, on their laptops, because again, nobody's using the yellow pages. They're going to look for you here, and when they look there, they're going to look at Google Plus Local. You want to find the ways to make sure that you're putting yourself in the absolute best position you can, and it's not that difficult. We've already shown you that it might take a little bit of time, but there's not much in terms of brain power. It's not rocket science to get this stuff done. You just need to, roll up your sleeves and get to work. So anyway, let's go ahead and end it there. I know that a lot of you are up against time, and I know that your time is valuable. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. If you do have any questions or concerns, or if you ever need any kind of help with this or any of the other services we offer, always feel free to get in touch with me or my team, and we will be in touch soon, and we wish you only the best. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.